Hi, I'm Elisa David. Hope everybody had a great week. I hope everybody had a better week than I did. Somehow I had one interruption after the other, one aggravation after the other, and I didn't really get to prepare for the Parasha the way I usually would. I have go-to books that I look at them, get some ideas, get inspired, and take it from there. I didn't have that chance this week, but it seems to be in theme. My lack of ability to reach out to those things that I'm familiar with, it seems to be in theme with the Parasha itself. This week's Parasha is the Parasha of lecha. Now, in this Parasha, God tells Abraham to get up and go, right? Just to leave everything he knew. So in the Bible, it's written, Lech lecha, leave the land that you were born in, leave your home, your father's house, get up and go. But if you read it in Hebrew, the word is lech lecha. So in the English translation in the Bible, it will be, get up and go. But when you speak Hebrew, the word lech lecha means go to yourself. Lech lecha. Get up and go to yourself. Now all the things that God just told him to leave, his place of birth, the land he's familiar with, his father's home. Get up and go to yourself. Aren't those the things that define me? The house I grew up in, the language I speak, the people I know, my neighbors, my car, my clothes, everything, all those things, they come to define me. If I'm leaving those all behind, then I'm leaving me behind. Not going to myself, actually it seems to be the opposite. No. Because the fact is that all those things, your neighbors, the mindset, your clothing, your car, the fashion, the job, the language of the day, the philosophy of the day, the politics that everyone speaks, those are your traps, those are your constraints. They define you, but they're not you. They actually keep you down. They constrict who you're meant to be. They don't platform it in most case scenarios. So what God is telling him to do really is to take all those things that have defined who you think you are and leave them behind because they're not you. Now we know that Abraham was a very unique person. He's considered the first Jew. And what did he discover that nobody knew before? At least for a long time. It was, the generations became corrupted since the creation of the world. He realized, some say at the age of 3 and some say at later dates, later ages, he recognized that there is one God. But this was a very unique discovery in a time that was filled with idol worship. Everything was a god. In fact, his own father manufactured idols. An idol to be rich, an idol to be pretty, an idol to be skinny, an idol to be smart, and you name it, he manufactured idols. So there's a midrash that says that one day the father left his shop, his store, whatever it was, to Abraham to take care of the shop. Abraham had already determined that there was only one God, and it wasn't in that idol. So what he did was smash all the idols. The father comes back. What happened here? Abraham said, you see that big idol? And this idol? They all smashed each other. There was a major war. They clobbered each other, and all that's left is nothing. They're all pulverized. So the father said, what do you mean? How can they do that? They're idols. They're statues. Eureka. If they can't smash each other, then why would you worship them as idols? Although Abraham had that spark, that knowledge, that awareness that God was one, he was still in an environment that was not conducive to his growth. And God wanted him, Lech lecha, go to yourself, leave it all behind. But it's not just about leaving behind the clothes that define you and the car that you drive and all those things in the business card you carry. And it reminds me of the world that I used to be in when I was working in the news business. And you have that idea that you're wearing, that you work at Fox News or at ABC News and it's swinging around its cord and, your identity is swinging as you're walking. That's who I am. Is that who you are? What happens when you take off that ID that says Fox News, ABC News? What happens when you have to give back that car because you just can't afford it anymore? What happens when you're not wearing your designer wear? Who are you? At what point do you stop being you? Take away your designer clothes, take away your car, take away your job, take away your ID. When we strip the externals from you, what's left? Who are you at the core? Who are you? Lech lecha, go to yourself. So Abraham, he gets up and he goes. But God doesn't tell him where. Because what he's leaving behind is not only the external trappings, and we call them trappings because they trap you, because you come to define yourself by the things that are in your environment. If you wouldn't be so pretty, would you still be you? If you wouldn't have your muscles, would you still be you? Before I put my lipstick on, am I still me? At what point do you stop being you and when do you start being you? So he was not just leaving the externality. You also have to leave behind the mindsets, the values, of course the bad ones, the philosophy that's encumbering your spirits, the excuses that you used. Abraham didn't use, and that's why God selected him to be the father of the nation, of the Jewish people, the person with whom God made a covenant that the land of Israel belongs to you and to your children through Yitzchak. Because Abraham realized everything around him was false. Everything is a distraction from God. But when you funnel yourself to go to yourself, when you go to yourself, it's because you're looking for the God inside of you, the person who you are meant to be. So he didn't let that his father was an idol worshiper taint his relationship with God. You see, the problem with all of us is we're worried about all our short-term relationships. And it's a funny thing to say, but a parent, a child, a wife, a husband, everything in life has its expiration dates. We're born and we're born to die. But the only relationship that lasts forever, the longest lasting relationship in our lives, is the one with God. And it's the relationship we work on the least. But Abraham, in a time that was completely not conducive to this type of spiritual growth and awareness, went against all the norms of his time and his generation. He was thrown into a fiery furnace and he had all types of tests that were really, his life was in jeopardy. It's not today, I want to find myself, so I'm taking a trip to India and I'm looking for a guru here or there. I mean, his life was at risk because of what he believed in. But what he believed in was more powerful than everything else. And when he threw his complete emunah, his complete faith into God, that's when he made himself worthy of God's blessing. Everyone who is blessed is coming through the blessing of Abraham, and whoever curses him is cursed. Emunah, belief in Hashem. Because when we believe that the car makes me who I am, and my title makes me who I am, who are you when it's all gone? What we're meant to be is a servant of Hashem. If your business card reads that you're a servant of Hashem, then you will be employed for your life. All other cards, at one time we have to give up. I remember when I had to give up my business cards, you go through a little bit of an identity crisis, so I don't have a card to give out anymore. Who are you? When you serve Hashem, you're employed for a lifetime. And that's the only real job we have. Of course, you have to work on your relationships and behave like a mensch in your immediate environment, of course. But I'm saying that we shouldn't starve our relationship with Hashem because we're so busy feeding all the other relationships. And the fact is you really serve Hashem properly, and properly means through the rules that He gave us, not your self-made rules. I recently told somebody, we're talking about relationships and everything and how it is a two-way street. You can't keep Shabbat on Wednesday. Now you could be the best intentioned person in the whole world. I serve God in my own way. And every Wednesday, I keep Shabbat. You know what? God doesn't want you to keep Shabbat on a Wednesday. He wants you to keep it on Shabbat. Because that's what means something to Him. So if you're dancing, maybe, and that's why the dances of today reflect our society. Everybody's everybody a different direction. Unlike the graceful dancing of times gone by. When you actually care what the other person is doing. When you're serving Hashem, when you're in a relationship, you have to take into account each other. This is my need, this is your need, let's make it work, let's do a dance. So Abraham went on a journey that he had no idea where he was going, because God said, go to the place, I'll show you. Now I'm thinking of us as we prepared for the pandemic. So why didn't God want to tell him where he's going? Because when you know where you're going, you kind of know what to bring. I'm going to Florida, I'm bringing a bikini. I'm not, or a bathing suit, whatever, okay? If you're religious, for sure, you're not bringing a bikini. Going south, it's a different thing you're packing in your luggage. If you're going north, you're bringing your skis. God doesn't want him to bring anything from the past. Don't bring your old baggage. You're going on a journey now to discover you. Lech, lecha. When you have to discover yourself, you become innovative. You have to be ready to brace all the tests that are going to come. In Hebrew, the word for test is nisayon. Nisayon, a test, which is what life is. But that same word means to lift up. To lift us up, that's what a test is. Now, in modern day vernacular, we'll say, well, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, so yeah, it lifts you up. No. Fine, okay, it has its practical aspects too, but when you're lifting up, it means only one thing, that you're serving Hashem. Because if you're not going up in your service Hashem, you're going down. Like on a treadmill, if you're not walking, you're going backwards and you're flying. Whatever's behind you, you're landing on it. I know, I still have a bruise from the time I decided and I forgot to walk for some reason. When you're on a journey toward Hashem, when you're going south, a spiritual elevation, you will have your tests. Abraham was to bring nothing from the past. Only his belief in God. That's the only thing that he carried with him along the way. Now, so many of us are going through our lives now with this pandemic. Oh yes, so it reminds me, why was I talking about the pandemic? So we didn't know what was going to be with this pandemic. We had no idea what was going to be. So many of us, like I asked a question on Facebook once, what's the weirdest or craziest thing you bought to prepare for this pandemic? I'm embarrassed to tell you some of the things I bought, but I was innovative. You know, I have the stories of World War II in my head, Holocaust survivors, things that help them stay alive, get them through the hard spots, the rough spots. So I prepared. I over-prepared. For the moment, over-prepared. Who knows what tomorrow is? But when you don't know what's going to be, you have to dig deep. You have to dig deep. And when you dig deep, there's great riches to be found. And it reminds me of a story. I remember a story. A father left his children, and they were lazy children, kind of. Wanted everything easy and cheap. Almost like today's kids, right? And he said, I left you this big, massive amount of land, acres and acres and acres, and under this land is a treasure buried. But I'm not telling you where. Not telling you where. But this treasure is worth, it's unbelievable treasure. So of course, they're looking for the treasure. As they're looking and they're looking and they're plowing and they can't find it. They're going each square inch by square inch to find the treasure. God forbid you should miss for 1 second, $1. You're digging. And as they're digging, they're tilling the land and they're cultivating the land. And then the land begins to blossom and grow and bloom. And then they have produce. And then they sell it. And then they make money. And then they sell more. And they plant more. And they sell more. What was the treasure? They never found the treasure. The treasure was in tilling the land. The treasure in you is when you till yourself. When you go through the hard spots. But you don't look at them as dark. You look at them as Abraham looked at it. I'm going on a journey, and as I go on the journey, I'm creating the light. I'm not going to look for the light. I am the light. Like they say, I see the light. No, you be the light. Be the light. Oh, I'll be happy when this is all over. Oh, I could be nice and more polite and less abrupt when this is... No. When it's all over, it's all over. Life is not when it's all over. Life is now. Do you want, if somebody was going to give you $1 million, I'll give it to you an hour before you die. It's all over. Do you want it now? You want to live your life with it. You want to enjoy it. The same thing with our duty in life is to make the light as we go. Abraham, as he went on his journey, he created the light. He taught people about God is one. Everything else is an idol. Everything else is a distraction. Everything is baloney. God is one. He made the light and He blazed the path of glory. How about you? What's defining you? Who are you? There's a story, it's a cute story about a simpleton from Chelm. And everybody knows, people from Chelm, not so smart, right? So anyways, he's traveling, he's going to a village, and he needs to sleep, and he's exhausted. And there's an inn, so he goes to the inn, he knocks on the door. He says, I'm exhausted, I need a place to sleep, just for tonight, I'm leaving early in the morning, we can't, we're full, I'm sorry you can't. Please, you can't, please, you can't. Oh, okay, fine. We have a room upstairs it's a communal room, a few people share it, we'll let you sleep there, and then you can go. Thank you. But the only thing is there's a few other people in the room. There's a general, there's a clown, whatever. So, simpleton from Chelm, he's so happy. No problem, just take me to the room, I'll sleep, I'll be out of here before you know it, but do me a favor, please wake me up before the sun goes up because I'll never catch the train. Fine. He's woken up in the morning, he gets undressed, he goes to sleep, blah, blah, blah. Get up, it's time to go, you're going to be late, da-da-da. Gets dressed in the dark, puts on, it goes. It's still dark outside, he gets to the train, the light begins to rise. He looks at himself, he's wearing the shoes from the clown and the outfit from the general, and he says, what a stupid innkeeper, he woke up the general and the clown, and now I'm going to be late for the train because I'm still sleeping. Is this you? What's you? What will be left of you when this is gone? What imprint are you going to make on this world? You think that you're an angel? Angels make no footprints. I've heard that before. It's brilliant. But you're a human being. You're here to make an imprint on this world. Just like Abraham. When he went to himself in an honest way, and yourself is not, oh, I found my truth and now I'm playing guitar. No, yourself is finding how you can serve Hashem in your own unique way. What are you? What are you? Find God inside of you and deliver that. Because you are not all the trappings of your life. And I hate to bring up politics, but I feel compelled. I don't know why. I got an email lately, last night, was that lately, from a big figure in New York. And he said, we are Americans before we're Jews. And I understand to some degree why American Jews will say that, because, we want to look patriotic. We don't want to look like, we're Jewish first and Israel is our only argument on the ballot. I understand where he's coming from, but he's wrong. Because we are Jews first. Go to yourself. Every other group is so proud to raise their banner, even if their actions are not according to what I think is right. You have Black Lives Matter, and they're proud, and they have their movement. How they express themselves is a story that is not for this shiur. Black Lives Matter, gay movement, every movement is running with their flag, and I'm proud to be who I am, and only the Jew. I'm hiding like this. Oh my God, I'm Jewish, I'm American first. You know what? You want Americans to like you? Be a good Jew. Be a Jew first. Be a Jew first, and you will be loved by all your neighbors. Because being a good Jew means not being too flashy and showing off. Not flaunting all your assets. It's being humble, being charitable, being kind, being respectful, not treating people like garbage because you made $5 in America. Yeah, America was good to you. The German Jews were German first, too. They were also the first in the gas chamber, the first in the ovens, the first in the trains to death. Go to yourself, remember who you are. Because if you don't, the world will remind you. If coronavirus didn't teach us who we are, so many of my friends had big offices in Manhattan, the nicest clothes, everything that was their image, that's who they were. They've been wearing jogging suits for the past 8 months, schlepping around the house, in quarantine, out of quarantine, working, not working. What happened to all those things? Are you not you anymore? Are you going to wake up and say, I'm not me anymore? Because if you feel like you're not you anymore because you is in Manhattan and you is in the office and you is in the fancy building where you have that thing swinging back and forth, claiming your identity, then I'm sorry for you. I feel sorry for you if that's who you think you are. A lot of rich people die. What are they taking with them? A lot of famous people die. What are they taking with them? We all die. What are you taking with you? Take with you your mitzvot. Take with you the one thing that God told you to do is to be a Jew. Keep my Torah. Keep my Torah. You're ready to keep everything else. Tony Robbins says it. Oh my God, I have to do it. This diet guru says you can't eat carbs and you can't mix this and you can't... You're ready to listen to them. How to live your life and what to eat and how to behave and what to wear. Of course, what to wear, the fashionistas. You're ready to listen to everything, only not to God. Which is very interesting because all these fashions come and go. All these diets come and go. All these gurus come and go. And one theory is replaced by the next theory. The only thing that withstood the test of time, the nisayon, the test, was Judaism and God's Torah. All the empires lay in the dust, and the fragile Jew, the humble Jew, we still live on. Lech lecha, go to yourself. Or lech lecha, which is the command that God gives to Abraham, equals in Hebrew, because every letter in Hebrew has a numerical value. We call it gematria. The word lech lecha equals 100. At what age did Abraham have Isaac? I'm sure you're not shocked when I tell you at 100. The potential within the lech lecha, the seed of growth, is within you if only you'll listen to my advice, which is not mine but comes from our holy Torah. Lech lecha. And remember who you are. Shabbat shalom.